Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being with us here today on Mi Gente On Air as we live stream for the community this show that is highlighting Latino contributions, Latino concerns, and Latino culture as always. We've got a great show for you tonight because we're embarking on Cinco de Mayo, less than 2 weeks now. And, when we started counting down, I had like 6 months, 3 months, 2 months, and I can't believe we're already here 2 weeks shy of Cinco de Mayo. By the time this airs on Sunday evenings at 8 p.m., we'll only have a week, 6 days. So thank you for joining me tonight. I hope you will contribute by leaving comments or just small posts so that we can ask questions of our guests as well. If you have any questions with me pertaining to Cinco de Mayo, because that's the big celebration coming up, I hope you will engage and join us in a way that we can answer these questions and be a part of Mi Gente On Air. So thank you so much. Michael Ray says 2 weeks. He's watching already. So join me here on Mi Gente On Air. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Mi Gente On Air on 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW and online WSGW.com. Now, here is your host, Harry Rodarte.
Mi Gente, thank you for tuning in to Mi Gente On Air another week. We are here already at the end of April, the beginning of May, and I'm here at the Alpha Media Studios with WSGW, that is Talk Radio. I'm your host, Larry Rodarte, and thank you for joining me. Sometimes absence makes the heart fonder. We know this. You've heard the old adage. Well, I say this tonight because we sure have a big interest in our annual Cinco de Mayo. Maybe because it's been 3 years since the Unión Cívica Mexicana presented the parade and festival, the last one. But next week, we will embark on the return of the big celebration, and that's what it is, celebrating Hispanic contributions of all those around you. We're selling great restaurants like Maria's Restaurant and T&T Authentic Mexican Cuisine, and we can't forget El Palito in the SVRC building or Alejandro's, or the Mexican bakeries of Maria Elena's or Las Reyes Bakery. How about Jake's Steakhouse in Old Town or Valerie's Downtown? Or how about the Coco Loco chain? This is just some of the Mexican businesses, but there are so many more contributors in so many fields because we are a big part of the Great Lakes Bay region. We have Matt Fallon heading up the Great Lakes Bay Alliance. Vanessa Gale is our Saginaw City County Clerk. David Morales is our City Manager. And Michael Flores is a Saginaw City Councilman. My point is Hispanics, Latinos are everywhere. And Cinco de Mayo is a day to celebrate our contributions. But, and I pause, since the last celebration, we are not the same people. We are different. And in 2022, we are trying to get back to normalcy. It is a time of healing. And this upcoming parade and festival can really help in the process. And today I have a special guest, a prayer warrior, someone who has walked the walk. She has participated in several parades. She was affected by the pandemic. And if you've attended a parade the last few years, you will hear Pastor Mary Garcia's voice and her family of musicians in song blessing the parade attendees down the parade route. You will see her with her hand in the air. It's her way of prayer for the city of Saginaw. So as we embark on the Cinco de Mayo time, I'm thrilled to have my good friend, Pastor Mary Garcia of King of King Ministries here on Mi Gente On Air. So please help me welcome Maria de Jesus Garza Garcia, a.k.a. Maruca, Mary. Buenos
Yes.
tardes, Maria.
Buenas tardes, my friend Larry.
How'd you like that opening?
Yeah, I
huh?
like that. Not too many people know that's my nickname. But
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
Maruca.
For years I've called you that.
Yes.
Mary and I go way back to the 6th grade at Hanlon Middle School
Yes.
in the Bridgeport school systems, and man, we've had fun through the years. You know, we've been great friends, and I'll tell you, it was really difficult for me. You know, as we headed into the pandemic, and I seen how much she was struggling, her family, and I think we need to talk a little bit about that because that's kind of what the show's about.
Yes.
And you know, that there's hope. There's hope for a better day, one day at a time. And I want you to tell us a little bit about your story.
Yes. I just thank God that I can say that we've made it. Yes, COVID has come and robbed us from so many things, especially our loved ones. Many of us lost loved ones. But in my journey, I never lost my faith. And as many of you know, my husband had COVID and he went into cardiac arrest. The doctors told me he had no blood pressure, all his organs failed. But I didn't receive the doctor's report. I kept my faith because I knew in whom our God is. And so that is what kept me going. And just a testimony, my husband is well and alive. But at the same time, we've lost so many. I know that many of you know what I'm talking about. And I've lost uncles, aunts, my father-in-law, um, and so many cousins. But you know what? It says that sorrow may last for a night, but joy comes in the morning. And we've made it, and it's time to just get up. We don't have to fear. We can have faith and believing that good days are ahead. Good days are ahead. And you know, what a best time to celebrate the Cinco de Mayo. That's a new beginning. Let's start a new beginning and just rejoice. We're going to celebrate the gift of life. Yes. We're going to celebrate Saginaw because, you know, that is our city. That's our community. And we've been through so much. But you know what? We're going to rejoice. We're going to rejoice. And on that day, we come together as a community, not just the Latinos, but a diversity of our community to come together and let's just rejoice and celebrate coming together. Because you know the word of God says in Psalms 133 that in unity there's blessing. So Saginaw, we have to come together in unity at the Cinco de Mayo and the parade. But let's come together as we're celebrating this event. And we'll see the blessings of God come over us. And let's just look back, only look back to see where God has brought us from. And now we just look forward and just celebrate on today.
Yeah. Well, you know, if you're listening, and those of us here in the studio, my producer and Mary and myself, we are survivors. We are survivors of a time that we had no idea was going to be so devastating. And, you know, since the pandemic began in March of 2020, public health officials reported more than 900 deaths from COVID-19 in Saginaw County. So I don't care who you are, pretty much everybody's been affected. And whether it's the Hispanic community, the African-American community, any community, we have all been affected because we either knew somebody who was really sick, they may have been on a ventilator, we may have lost somebody. It was a tough time. And amidst all the political turmoil and everything else in the backdrop was the pandemic, and it's been difficult. So, you know, I look at this Cinco de Mayo as, you know, first of all, in the pre-pandemic times, we used to look at Cinco de Mayo as well. We're coming out of the winter, you know, we're coming up to warmer weather in spring, and we were always the first big celebration at the event park across from the Dow, Huntington, and now it's called Jolt Credit Union Event Park. But this year it's a little bit different because, like I said, we're not the same people, and we are celebrating as survivors, and yet we're still remembering all those that were with us. You know, I posted some posts on my Facebook page of like Maria Vela, who headed up the Cinco de Mayo for so many years before I did. And we lost her in March of 2021 from COVID. Louis Flores, our great announcer on radio, who was up at the stage. How many times do you remember
Oh,
Louis
so
and his
many.
voice at the stage of the
Since
Cinco
I
de
was a little
Mayo?
girl.
Yeah, since we were young, the very first
Yes.
ones, and we lost him to COVID as well. I mean, it's just been, there was a time I remember where flipping through my phone on Facebook, and it was like every day there was somebody we were losing in the community, whether it was in our community here in Saginaw or whether it was relatives or friends down in Texas
Yes.
or in Florida, wherever. It was just a really tough time. So I really see this as a time of healing, And like I said in the opening, Mary here, Pastor Mary, has been in several Cinco de Mayo parades, and along with her family, her husband Isaac and her sons Champ, and some other members of her musicians in her family, they've come down the parade route, and you'll see Mary with her hand raised, and she's singing the hallelujahs or some songs that are
Yes.
just blessing the people of Saginaw. And that's what she's told me she's doing. She feels, that she's there. She is on the screen there. She's blessing all the parade attendees, and she's just having a great time. And she's singing those songs that she tried to teach me when we were very young, one day at a time. And
Yes.
God sent his son. You remember all those? And
Yes.
so, it's really heartwarming to me to know that she's again going to be in the parade. Her son, Champ, and her husband, who was devastated by the COVID-19 pandemic. I think his heart stopped twice.
Yes.
And, we really didn't think he was going to make it, but she had a Christmas miracle.
Yes.
And he
Thank
came
you,
back
Jesus.
and came out of that darkness, and he is alive and doing well. And we're so thankful for that.
Yes.
Because they are pastors at King of Kings on South Washington there. They've got a new church. Where's the address there?
1030 South Washington, next to the Jolt Credit Union.
Yeah. So if you are looking for a place of worship, they are there right next to the Jolt Credit Union on South Washington Avenue in Saginaw. So, we are providing a great service to the community in bringing forth a Cinco de Mayo, and we're celebrating Hispanic contributions, and we want to invite everybody to come out to the parade. This is, of course, going to be Hispanic and Latino contributions that we're recognizing, but we want everybody to come out because this is what makes our community of diversity so great, and I've said this many times where, it's as important as the Greek festival and the Bavarian festival, and the Cinco de Mayo just really gives us a great celebration that everybody can come out on May 7th this year on Saturday, and we're all going to pray for, and I'm going to call on Mary and the Damas de Guadalupe. We're going to pray for great weather that day.
We did that one day, and the sun came out.
Yes.
There's power in prayer.
We have been in parades where it is raining, and then the sun will come out, and that's Michigan weather. It's Michigan weather for all of us. And as we were coming in the studio today, I had no idea that it was going to be snowing, and here we are in the end of April. And it's snowing down and raining and sleet, and I'm just like, oh boy. So you just never know. But part of what, as I've said, the theme this year for the parade is in memory, in memoria, and it's to remember those that we have lost, because there was just so many. And I know that the Unión Cívica Mexicana, we're preparing our float, and it's going to be an ofrenda, an altar with if you don't know what I'm talking about, my listeners out there, it's like in the movie Coco, you've seen the altars that they had with their deceased loved ones in during the time of Dia de los Muertos. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to kind of bring attention to those that have been with us in past Cinco de Mayos, and whether they passed from COVID or we just lost them during that time, because I lost my father in 2020, and to lose somebody during the time of the pandemic was very difficult, because you're trying to make them mask up during and keep them safe from the virus and all. And then if you did lose them, which we did, to have a funeral was very difficult, because you didn't want crowds, and we kind of couldn't grieve at that time, because we could only grieve within a small circle of people. And so it's it's just something that I know that anybody who lost someone during this time, in the with the backdrop of the pandemic, it just was very difficult,
Yes, it
very
was.
difficult. And that's what I mean by we're not
Yes.
the same people. And sometimes some of the things that we took for granted, like a Cinco de Mayo parade, or a festival that we could easily go to with not having to wear masks, we may have taken that for granted. And so I hope everybody will be out there and join us, and they'll realize what we have as a community. And I say that because I know that a lot of communities, they don't celebrate the Cinco de Mayo, and that's simply because sometimes they will celebrate Mexican Independence Day in September, or it just depends on who their leaders are in the community. But for 43 years now, the Saginaw community has celebrated Cinco de Mayo thanks to Cruz Castillo Diaz, who started it back in 1980. How old were we in
Wow.
1980? My gosh.
Yes.
And I remember that very first Cinco de Mayo, and it was beautiful.
Very beautiful.
And it was really a wonderful time. And through the years, how many parades have you gone to?
True. Yeah.
We've been to so many parades, and we have seen the beautiful floats, and we've seen
Yes.
the marching band of Saginaw High coming down Michigan Avenue, and we've had the different organizations and the businesses and
It's
the
grown so
politicians.
much.
Yes.
It's
And
grown.
and typically, we've had usually over 100 entrants for a parade, and that is a pretty big parade, and we've had great crowds come in, and it's really heartfelt for a lot of people. And the Mexican community in Saginaw, I think most of us now have grown up with a Cinco de Mayo celebration
Yes.
in our lifetime. And Tina Rodarte Rivera, who's on the live stream here, she says the parade apps are finally starting to come through. Makes me so happy.
Yes.
Keep it coming, gente. And I know, Tina, I've got quite a few myself I got to give to you. So, that's a thing. And that's why I say, sometimes absence makes the heart fonder,
Yeah.
because we're getting a lot of interest in outside of even the Hispanic community, and people are signing up to be in the parade, and they're excited, and it's just wonderful to see that. Yet I still hope that there are those, and we have to push for floats, because we want to make sure we have a beautiful parade with floats, and not just a vehicle with a banner on the side, which we have had that sometimes, and that's okay. But we want to make this the return of the Cinco de Mayo a special one. But tell me, Mary, what has been your memories of Cinco de Mayo and what you've experienced, and tell me a little bit about your most memorable moment.
My most memorable moment is I think the most time that I was excited is when my nephew Ernie was the grand marshal, because he was part of our, he's my nephew, he's my brother's son, and we were so excited, just to be able to lead, the parade, and that was very exciting for our whole family. But even growing up, just getting excited to go buy, we have to go shopping, we have to go buy us an outfit for the Cinco de Mayo. And I think that everybody looks forward to this. I would say it's one of the biggest events in our community, and so that's what I remember, just being so excited. And I know that everyone comes together, and you're going to see friends and people you haven't seen just coming together. And it brings so much joy to see the diversity. You see other people of other cultures out there dancing and just enjoying themselves. So that's probably one of my fondest moments of the parade, and just getting ready. I'm excited at everyone that I've attended, except for the one where we had to move to the Dow Event Center. Remember that?
Yes.
But it still turned out. It still was really nice. But it's just a good time. I just remember every memory I have of the Cinco de Mayo has been great memories of everyone coming together.
Yeah, and what Mary was talking about was her nephew Ernie Garza, the boxer. We call him Saginaw's Pride, I think, and he would come with a banner in front of him, and he would have his boxing belts that he won from his fights,
pro fights, yes.
And he just always represented our community so well.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I got a cough here. But Ernie was, always, it's always so nice to see. And I know, even you as an aunt and me as an elder who's seen him as a child and a
Yes.
good friend, or your brother of mine. I was so proud. I was always so
Yes.
proud of him. And
Yes.
and so we hope he'll be in the parade again. Why not? And
Right.
we got another boxer up and coming, Max Rodriguez, that's going to be in the parade, I believe. And so there's a lot of entries that we're receiving now. So that's nice. And I'm losing my voice here. So Mary, can you tell me,
Yes.
what is your family doing in preparation of the Cinco de Mayo?
um, well, we're just getting together. Our church, we're getting together and just getting ideas of what our parade is going to be. We want to do something as being a church. We want to do something like Saginaw for Jesus because, we have 5 o'clock mornings prayers lifting up Saginaw, our city. So we want to do something like that. It's not all set yet, but we're just excited. Getting next week, we'll start decorating our float. So those are the things that we're getting together. Our T-shirts, yeah, just planning. Who's going to do what, and we're so excited. I know everyone that's going to be in the parade is super excited right now, and it's time to get excited because really it's already like next week. So those are things that we're doing: getting our T-shirts ready, the decorations. What are we going to put on the float? Who's going to be on the float? Who's going to walk? So we're getting excited for those things.
Well, we have William H. Flores here, senior, and excuse me, but he says my tío Rene Flores was the Grand Marshal, one of your many parades. My father, the late Tony Flores, and I enjoy going every year. I also took my kids when they were young, and now they have kids and bring their own kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that speaks to a lot of us, that
The
we've come
generations.
out there in the generations
Yes.
that have seen the Cinco de Mayo.
Yes.
The outdoor festival is going to be big over at the Jolt Credit Union Event Park now. And what we've added this year, as my voice comes back into play, is the Lucha Libre, the International Big Time Wrestling. They're going to have a wrestling ring out at the event park. And they're gonna, they have the masks and the different colors, and so that's gonna be something that's different.
Yes, that's gonna be nice.
And I remember, I think at least 2 Cinco de Mayo's when we started at the park. Mary, you gave a blessing to the
Yes.
community, and you've sung. Tell us what that experience was like for you with the crowd.
That was an honor. That is an honor to be able to pray over this event. Because everything we do, we have to honor God. He's the one that allowed us to wake up every morning. He's the one that allowed this event to happen. And there's so much work. There's so much work into this. If you think that you're working hard just making your float, which it is a lot of work, I just imagine that like Larry and all the Civic members and everything they have to do. But it was an honor to be able to bless this event and ask our Father God to bless and be in the midst of everything that took place on that day. And that's why we bless it. We say, Father, we're asking you to just be here and just bless everything that happens. And like I said before, when we come in unity as a community, there's blessings. So that's an honor for me that is the reason why.
And you've always done such a great job.
You.
I'm always confident when I know Mary's going to be up on the stage, because she'll do a good job for the city and for our community and for our people. And along with the wrestlers that are going to be out there, we're going to have inflatable playland for the kids, like we have several years. And we're going to have great entertainment. We got Los Hermanos Villegas. They're from Adrian, Michigan, and they're a favorite within our Tejano community. One of the local bands, as well as Mary's son, Conjunto Champs. He has his band, and he's our local component that has been with us. And we also have the culture creators from Detroit that are going to be with us, as well as our long-standing DJ for the Cinco de Mayo, Frank Medell, as well as a ballet folklorico group. So we got a lot coming on the stage, but of course, I know everybody was excited last week when we announced Michael Salgado, Tejano royalty, coming to the Saginaw's 43rd annual Cinco de Mayo. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that. I got a surprise for you as well coming up as we come into the second part of our show. And we're going to talk with Pastora Maria Garcia, Maria Maruca. I like to say all kinds of names for her. But we have to give recognition as well to some of our sponsors like Hemlock Semiconductor and the Soaring Eagle and Sarah Automotive. We've got some great event sponsors this year, and we're so happy that they believe in what we're doing and that they're going to help support to bring this big festival to our community. So we'll be right back with Maruca, Pastor Mary Garcia, as well as myself as we talk about this great celebration of Cinco de Mayo. Stay with us. No te vayas.
Good morning. We're broadcasting today from Mayo.
So, as you can see, when we do go live with the live stream, if I lose my voice, that's what's going to happen. And I thank Mary for helping me here. Now she's coughing, so we have to deal with this in the studio as we go live, and we have to continue on. The show must go on, right, Chandler?
Yes, but would you like to?
Oh, and
Would you like to take maybe a 3-minute break?
yeah, so let us take a 3-minute break from the after we go out of the live stream so that we can clear our voices. Mary can drink her little lemonade drink with water, and we can go forward and make sure that we kind of got our voices back. But that's what happens on live streaming on Mi Gente On Air. We're real. We'll be right back.
Oye, mira nomás, ¿qué es esa cosita? Yo no sé.
You're listening to Mi Gente On Air on WSGW.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us tonight here on Mi Gente On Air as we talk about the upcoming Cinco de Mayo parade and festival. And I have a guest, Pastor Mary Garcia from King of Kings Ministries. And I've got a special song here that kind of pertains to everything that we're kind of talking about in terms of healing for the parade as we go forward at this time coming out of the pandemic.
Necesitado me encuentro, Señor. Ayúdame a ver, yo quiero saber lo que debo hacer. Pues da el camino que debo seguir. Señor, por mi bien, yo quiero vivir un día a la vez. Un día a la vez, mi Cristo, es lo que pido de ti. Dame la fuerza para vivir un día a la vez. Ayer ya pasó, mi Cristo, mañana quizás no vendrá. Ayúdame hoy, yo quiero vivir un día a la vez.
And there we have it, Pastor Mary Garcia from King of Kings, who is going to be saying the benediction at the annual Cinco de Mayo at Jolt Credit Union Event Park. And I need some help here from the live stream audience because we've got somebody who said that it was frozen, and I want to know if we're still broadcasting live here. Please let me know. But, you know, technical difficulties are a thing of the studio here sometimes, and I'm just so thankful that we had Pastor Mary singing one day at a time, because that's what it is. We're living one day at a time in these very, very difficult times.
Yes.
You know, we've got a war going on in the world with the Ukrainians and the Russians, and we're coming out of the pandemic. And, you know, I hate to be negative, but we have to keep this in the back of our mind because, you know, we have to be good stewards. We have to love one another. And I feel like, you know, when we talk about the parade and Mary mentioned about, you know, you see your friends and all, you know, I think that's one of the beautiful things is that, you know, you're going to see when you go out to the parade, you know that you're going to see friends, you know, you're going to see family members, you're going to see some things that may be very funny. You may see things that may be sad. And it's just such a good feeling, though, to know, you know, that we're all together as a community. Yes. And that's what I feel, Mary.
It is.
You know, it's not just the Hispanic community. When I see, you know, all the people, you know, when we're on Michigan Avenue,
yes.
and I see all the people lined up like in front of the Save-A-Lot on Michigan Avenue, and it's all walks. It's white, brown, black. You know, it's the diversity is just so beautiful. Yes. And I think that's what Cinco de Mayo, you know, really brings out in our community. And I hope that that's what will happen again, you know, this year as we return. And like you mentioned at one point, we have been where we've had parades that were in the rain, but we still go forward.
That's right.
You know, we still go forward. And we've had beautiful sunny days, 80-degree weather. And, you know, those are always such a blessing.
Yes.
And so I hope that everybody will pray for beautiful, good weather. And like I said, I'm going to ask the Damas de Guadalupe, and I'm going to ask the different pastors that I know.
Prayer changes things.
Yes. Yes, it does. And so we are so blessed. We are so blessed as a community. And I know that, you know, with the new additions of the Lucha Libres and, you know, we've got a big time Tejano artists coming. There's going to be a lot of people.
There is a lot.
And at this point, we're pretty much booked up in terms of the vendors that are going to be at the Jolt Event Credit Union.
Wow,
We've got
yes.
8 to 10 food vendors.
Wow.
And the Union Civica is going to lead up that pack with their patitos.
Yes.
Are you going to help? Are you going to help
Yes.
roll?
I'm gonna help eat. I'm gonna
and we also, we've got Wella's Kitchen and Wonder Burgers, a new one coming
Yes,
on, and
yes.
Monica Villarreal, she's going to be selling snow cones, I believe, and
Wow.
TNT, of course, going to be there. Maria's Restaurant, and I hope I'm not missing anybody. If I am, I don't have my list here, but there's going to be a lot of
So
food.
many, yes.
And you know what? That's one of the things that I think.
Oh, Cobb King.
Oh, Cobb King, yes.
Yes.
That beautiful picture of that fruit. Man, they made a killing
Yes.
at the last festival because they had their corn, they dyed it purple in
Yeah,
honor of
Selena.
Selena. Can you believe that?
Yeah, that was
Man. And they did really well, and they always
Yes, they
seemed to
did.
sell out. And you were over there selling Selena t-shirts
Yes.
that I was supposed to be selling.
Yeah.
And you and Champ had been in Texas, and he got them at the HEB store, and he brought them back and was selling them, but that's okay.
You gave me the go ahead.
Yeah, I gave her the go ahead. But anyways, the great thing is what I'm trying to say to everybody is if you have been to the Union Civica and have purchased our patitos,
they're so
if you've been to
delicious.
TNT, Maria's Restaurant, any of the restaurants, we're all going to be out there together, and this is the time where you come and you celebrate Mexican food because these are the culinary experts in our area.
That's right.
And it's always makes for a great festival when the first thing you get out at the park and you say, hey, I got to go get me some tacos.
Yes.
Right.
Everybody's always.
So
line.
it's really, it's really a big part of the celebration along, with the ballet folklorico dancers and then the music. And, one of the things I think that is really been great is when we see the kids, so many kids out there.
Excited.
Yeah, and they're excited with the inflatable playland or what have you. And I think that for them to go out to the parade, that it stands in their mind as a great memory. Great memory when they grow up. And I know Cynthia Favela, she's been with us in the preparation for this coming Cinco de Mayo. She's on the committee, and she said that she's taken her 3 toddlers. They're under 5, 4 under 5, and she says one of the great memories that she had was, going to the parade, and seeing the colors, all the different colors, and that's like Berta Davila, my friend. She loves seeing all the different flowers out there because she makes those paper flowers.
Right.
And how many times have you made paper flowers in your lifetime for a float or an event? And, and so that's kind of part of our culture that just really makes us feel wonderful that, we're here, we're in America, we're celebrating our heritage and our culture, and we're alive now. We're survivors. So we've got a lot to really celebrate. Yes. And, I want to mention on our live stream here, my cousin Dolores Vasquez, she's going to have a photo booth out there as well with some backdrops. So that's something that we're going to be adding as well. And we've also got my good friends on here, Esmeralda Meli Rodriguez. She says, Lupe Ramos, Montigne, and I will be there, Larry J. Rodarte, and they are from Grand Rapids.
Wow.
So they're coming from Grand Rapids. Thank you so much, ladies. It will be my pleasure and honor to see you at our Cinco de Mayo festival. And we also have Cassandra Carmona. I think you may know her. She says, amen. Just beautiful, Pastor Mary. You're singing.
She comes to my church. She's one of my spiritual daughters.
Yeah. So, we're really getting excited for this, aren't we?
We are. Yes. Very excited.
And I want to just mention that, it's a day-long celebration. It's the staging area for the parade entrance is at 10 a.m. at Hoyt Park. So anybody who's going to be in the parade, get to Hoyt Park at 10 a.m. by the zoo there. We're going to be lining up the parade there, and the parade starts promptly at 10:30 a.m. And we're going to head north on South Washington to downtown Saginaw, and it will end right there at Genesee So you can turn right and you can either go right to the festival at Jolt Credit Union Event Park, or you can go on straight to Genesee. But you won't be able to go left, I don't believe,
Back down
because of
Washington.
the construction that's going to
Yeah.
be happening. The city has those streets, the bridges shut off. But as soon as we get to the park over at Jolt Event Center, we're going to have the day-long celebration. Mary will be giving the benediction. We will have someone sing the national anthem, and then we will have our musical groups start with, Los Hermanos Villegas and Conjunto Champs. And at 2 p.m., Michael Salgado will be performing on the stage. So that kind of gives everybody a little bit of a schedule. And then also, we hopefully we'll have the dancers and then the culture creators from Detroit, which is kind of a young group of performers that they kind of do a little bit of hip hop and a little bit of, we're kind of changing it up for the groups, and we've got to be inclusive to our younger generation. And so, I would prefer that we all just had Mexican and Tejano music, but they're gonna give their version of Mexican
Right.
Tejano music. So
Yes.
we have to be inclusive of that.
That's right.
And I'll tell you, we have the health department that is going to be providing vaccines for people out there at the event park. We've got the Red Cross that's going to be out there. We got the Great Lakes Bay Health Center. They're going to be out there. We've got all
Wow,
kinds of
that's good.
wonderful additions. And I just want to, mention as we go forward into this show, we have some really great sponsors, and the interest for Cinco de Mayo this year has been increased, like I said, and along with media sponsor of Mi Gente magazine and Mi Gente On Air, WSGW. They're a media sponsor, and we're going to be broadcasting from the parade, believe it or not.
Wow.
Can you believe that? On
Yeah,
100.5
yay.
FM and 790 AM simultaneously.
awesome.
My producer, Chandler,
Yes.
is going to be out there. What do you think, Chandler? What are you thinking about the parade and the festival?
I'm so excited. I think it's going to be a really great time. And my sister's birthday is actually the day of the parade, so I might invite her out there because I know she
Alright.
likes good food.
Oh yeah.
And if I pay for it, then she'll be really happy.
Yeah. And Stephanie Liao, and I can't say her new married name. I can't even pronounce it, but
I can't
I know
either.
she's a friend of yours. She says, "Does it cost to get into the Jolt?" And yes, it does. It's $5 cover for 10 and over, and then kids 4 to 9 are $2, and children under or 3 and under are free. We had to increase our costs just
Yes.
because all the costs everywhere, from the
Mhm.
city, police to the event park, everything has gone up post pandemic. And so we really had to do that. But Blue Cross Blue Shield and the Blue Care Network, they're a sponsor. The UAW, Consumers Energy, I mentioned Sarah Auto Group as an event sponsor, along with Hemlock Semiconductor. That's awesome. Hemlock is a new sponsor, as well as, of course, the Soaring Eagle, which has been with us for many, many years now. Next Year Automotive, the Garber Automotive Group is with us, and TNT, Authentic Mexican Cuisine as well. And as I said, Mi Gente magazine, we're all sponsoring this great event. And if you would like to sponsor as a business owner or a business, we still are accepting those sponsors because the costs like daily goes up.
Yes.
I get hit with something, almost
Every day.
daily, and it can be something very little, but it costs a lot to put on a big event like this, and this is a big event, and I'm just so grateful for the Dow Event Center that we have them there. John Block and his group over there. We came out of a meeting this week with the Union Civica members and the Dow Event Center people, and I'm just so thankful that it's so easy to work with them, and they've got us. They've got us.
Yes, that's a
And
blessing. Having
yeah, and
connection.
it's just so nice to be able to move forward in that capacity. Because it wasn't always that way,
Right.
and I don't want to put anybody out there, throw them under the bus, but I feel like we're in a good place now at the event park. They've got great facilities. They got the great bathrooms that they have there, the clean bathrooms, and
Yes.
they've got the sound system set up where we don't have to hire a different sound system, and they
Right.
got security. I mean, you know, it's just so much easier and convenient for those of us that are organizing this event. And I want to mention also that the after party, the official after party, is at the Vault, which is the former Florence Hall over there, where the
On
Malibu used to be
Salt Street.
on Salt Street. Yes, thank you for that. The Vault is now a new facility that, you know, it's more set up like as a concert hall. And Michael Salgado will be there as well, performing, as well as Texas Latino, another group from San Antonio, Texas, and Ivan y Fuego, who are from Toledo, Ohio. They'll be performing. So there's going to be a great after party over at the Vault. And we got a lot going on. We got a lot going on for Cinco de Mayo. We're going to be tired.
Yes.
We're going to be tired, and I'll probably have to take another vacation for 2 months somewhere.
I
I don't
know,
know.
right?
But I want to ask Pastor Mary Garcia, you know, as we going into Cinco de Mayo, and you know, we have where we're at today here in 2022. What is your feeling as we embark on this Cinco de Mayo week after all that we've gone through? Because that's the theme of the show, you know, kind of we got to heal. Tell me what you're feeling as a longtime Saginaw resident who is, you know, serving the people by being a pastor.
I just, like I said earlier, I'm just excited. I'm just excited because you know what? It's like you said earlier, we're coming out of winter, you know, and it's like spring's here and this is beautiful event where we're coming out of this pandemic. We're coming out of all this where people were in fear, people didn't want to come out, we couldn't gather. So this is a blessing. This is such a blessing to be able to come out together. And you know what? We can look back, you know, and we have the legacy of our loved ones that they left behind. We have COVID couldn't rob us of the love. COVID couldn't rob us of our memories. And yeah, it's a sad time. We miss our loved ones. But you know what? We survived. And this event, I would say, is we're coming out of that pandemic. We're coming out of the winter, the blooming, and we're going into a brighter day. We're going into a brighter day, and we can look at life in a different view that we survived. We are survivors. So I'm rejoicing. I'm excited, and I'm looking forward to just all of us coming together.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
It's just a
Thank
beautiful
you.
thing that we have so much to be grateful for. We have the gift of life,
Yes, we do.
and
Yes,
we
do.
are honored to be able to celebrate as a community with one another.
And I just want to mention again that the parade is, you know, this parade is our people. This is
Yes.
representing our
Yes.
people. And I'm not talking just the Hispanics. I'm talking about the Saginaw
Yes.
community.
Yes.
And we have a lot of attendees,
Yes.
thousands that will be
Mhm.
there watching, from the very young to the very old.
Yes.
And I want to just mention that, you know, if you're thinking about being in the parade, there's still slots that are open, and you can contact our coordinator, Tina Rivera, and her number is 989-293-0329. And she's doing a wonderful job, you know, collecting all the parade applications, and give her a call. You know, she can get you an application if you don't have one. But any business out there, I mean, this is really a great way to promote your business.
Yes.
You know, I have the automotive car dealerships, and I tell them, I says, you know, for years I've seen where they ride in their nice cars, their nice vehicles. I said, but you know what? Your salespeople, they need to get out of those cars so people can see them,
Walk.
so they can walk and they can hold a
Wave.
banner. You know, what a way to promote
Mhm.
yourself and your business
Yes.
through this parade. And so, you know, I want to really encourage anybody who's still looking to possibly build a float. I know that St. Joe's Catholic Church has a beautiful float coming that they got their youth group involved with. Their
Wow.
coordinator, Veronica Jimenez, and Dennis Medell. They've got a youth group over there that are doing great things. They're setting up a 5K run in June,
Mhm.
and they're going to participate in this parade, and they'll be over at the festival. So, you know, if you've got an organization with youth, I know our good friend Roxanne Chantaka, she's got her class, the bilingual class, I think, or the Spanish class that they call it over at Arthur Hill. They're preparing a float like they do every year. And she did inform me, hopefully, that the band from Saginaw High and Arthur Hill, which is combined now, because they're going to have a united Saginaw High School, they're going to be performing in our parade. So, hopefully we'll have at least them, because I think the rest, it's just a peculiar time of graduations and other things going on.
Yes.
But I still think that, if you're going to perform in a 28-degree parade over at downtown Saginaw for the Christmas parade, you can
Yes.
perform in the Cinco de
For
Mayo if
sure.
it's
Yes.
60, 70, 80 degrees.
Right.
I had to get that little dig in there, right? But it's so important. This is Saginaw's Cinco de Mayo.
Yes.
It's not just, like I said, it's not just for the Hispanics, although we're targeting, just like this show, Mi Gente On Air, where we're targeting the Latino community. We're talking about our concerns, our culture, and our contributions. But just like the parade and the festival, this is all for Saginaw. For all
That's
you
right.
listeners out there,
Yes.
this is part of what makes our community so great.
Yes.
And if you go to some communities and you're thinking about, well, you know what, I'm going to move down to Texas because it's so cold and the snow or whatever. Well, you know what? Go down to a parade in Texas. They're beautiful. I've seen them,
Yes.
especially for Fiesta. Oh my God, they
Yes.
have them on the water and everything.
Yes,
But you know what?
Saginaw
You don't
Sports.
know anybody.
I know.
You don't know
You don't know
anybody in
anybody.
the parade or on the river or
Yeah.
anybody around you, unless you've got, family that come down and celebrate with you. But here in Saginaw, we have our family.
Yes,
We have our
have
church
one.
families. We have
Yes.
our friends. We have, our parents, our grandparents. So many years my dad would come to my house, and he always watched the Cinco de Mayo parade. And that's one of the great things that I look forward to is
Yes.
my tia Dela Chintaka. She's 90 years old. She always watches the parade with me. And so I'm looking forward to that because, it's about culture. It's about family. It's about from
Yes.
the very young to the very old. And we're all together, and we're all going to
That's
be out
right.
there on May 7th in Saginaw, downtown Saginaw. And what a festival and parade and celebration it will be.
Yes. Yes.
And so, what do you want to tell everybody out there in the listening world, Mary?
Oh, I just want to tell you to come on. Let's come on and support our community, our city. We are Saginaw. We can't down our city because when we're downing our city, you're downing yourself. I don't know about you, but I believe that we are awesome.
Yes.
Right? So Saginaw's awesome. So we lift up our city. We come and celebrate, get the family together. It's all about coming together. Like Larry said, you're going, you're watching the parade. Hey, there goes so and so. Hey, there goes so and so, and you get so excited just to see one another. And we pretty much everyone knows someone.
Mm-hmm.
So just get ready, get the kids ready, and let's just celebrate.
And I always know when Mary's coming down the parade route because I hear her voice first. I'm like, oh man, look at her hair. Oh no, look at what she's wearing. Look at her hair's flying in the wind. But she always does a great job. And Angela Blanco, she's on here. She says, hi, Pastor Mary. I love when you did the opening prayer to kick off our Cinco de Mayo festival. We need you again with big exclamation points.
Thank you. I love you too.
Yeah, and Val Blanco, she's saying Mother's Day with Michael Salgado. Yay, yes. And Angela Blanco says, bring your mothers, tias, and grandmothers to celebrate Mother's Day as well because it's the next day, May 8th, celebrating our mothers. So thank you, Pastor Mary Garcia, for being with me here today and for always just being that great steward of God who, lifts us all up in prayer. And as always, I know she prays for so many people. And when she needed the prayers, I was praying hard for her and for her family, her husband. And we've got to, it takes a village. Takes a village. And that's what this is all about. So thank you all for being with me here again on Mi Gente On Air. I hope you will spread the good word to come out for the annual Cinco de Mayo, the 43rd annual. Our community is celebrating, and that says a lot for who we are as a people. Again, thank you for joining me here on Mi Gente On Air as we embark on Cinco de Mayo week here in the city of Saginaw, the great city of Saginaw. Hasta luego. Goodbye. So there you have it. We are still celebrating here in the Alpha Media Studios with Pastor Maruca Garcia. And we really try to do our best to bring you the information that we do, especially at a time when I know everybody's asking questions. And I know that Mary did a great job. I felt in my heart that I really needed her to sing a song, because whenever she sings a song, she always uplifts me. She doesn't realize what she has been that voice for me for so many years. When we were in the intermediate school at the junior high at Bridgeport, we got up and we had a show. It was called the Bong Show.
Yes.
If anybody remembers, we used to have the Gong Show. And the Gong Show was a television show back in the 70s, is how far back we go. But we called it the Bong Show. If any Bridgeport classmates remember this, if they're out there listening. And Mary got up and we sang Heaven Knows by Donna Summer. And we took first place.
Yes,
You remember
we did,
that?
yes.
And it was quite a moment. So Mary really tried to get me to sing here tonight on Mi Gente On Air. But I said, no, I can't do that. But she's always just been that voice, that calming voice for me. And I know that the ministry that she has over on South Washington with King of Kings, with her family and all, they do a great job. So if anybody's looking for a place of prayer, of worship, and need prayers, Pastor Mary Garcia on King of King. And what was the address again?
1030 South Washington, next to Jolt Credit Union.
Yep, 1030 South Washington, next to Jolt Credit Union. So spread the word, everybody. Be positive, be joyful, be thankful that we're alive. We're here during this time, these difficult times, but we're ready to celebrate. We're ready to celebrate Cinco de Mayo, the 43rd annual, and we're going to remember all those that have left us in the last 2 years. But we're going to go with joyful hearts, and we're going to be thankful. So we'll see you again next week here on Mi Gente On Air. Adios.
Adios.